Hello, YouTube fam. Get ready for an amazing video experience. Hello, fellow enthusiasts. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of Stuart J. Byrne. Stuart James Byrne, October 26, 1913, September 23, 2011, was an American screenwriter and writer of science fiction and fantasy. He published under his own name and the pseudonyms Rothayne Amare, John Bloodstone, Howard Dare, and Marx Kaye house pseudonym. In the following section, we'll be immersing ourselves in the captivating world of biography. Byrne was born in St. Paul, Minnesota. Later he recalled, "I was in there early enough to see magic lantern slides instead of movies, to watch the little man in the black suit climb his ladder to light our gas lamp out front, and in the early 20s I was excited by whisperings of a thing called radio." Favorite fiction memories of the time included Grimm's fairy tales, Alice in Wonderland, L. Frank Baum's Oz stories, The Rover Boys, The Boy Allies, Gernsback science fiction, and the life-changing impact of the Edgar Rice Burroughs books. At the age of 12, he moved with his family to California. In his teen years, his interest in science fiction continued. He also became an avid amateur astronomer. Years later, he recalled that many a summer night was spent in awe, in the Pleiades and the Great Orion Nebula, or surfing the moons of Jupiter and rings of Saturn. In fact, at 15, I was grinding parabolic mirrors for my amateur telescope. In the years, he married Joey and fathered 2 children, Richard and Joanne. He now has 3 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. He earned an MA at UCLA. He published his first science fiction story, entitled Music of the Spheres in Amazing Stories, in 1935. It told how a young man sacrificed his life to send a passenger spaceship away from a fatal encounter with the sun. In their capsule review of the book, Lila and Lila state, the story, which is purple in writing, now considers the sensations of the young man as he approaches death in the sun, fancying that he hears the music of the spheres. In the years and years, Byrne published in Science Stories, Amazing Stories, Imagination, and Other Worlds. Byrne's character, Michael Flanagan, appeared as the hero of 3 novels published in Amazing Stories, The Land Beyond the Lens, The Golden Gods, and The Return of Michael Flanagan, all listed as by John Bloodstone. The first 2 of these stories were collected as Godman spelled Gottman. On the cover in 1970. All have been reprinted by Armchair Fiction as by S. J. Byrne. According to Byrne's later reminiscence, the name John Bloodstone was suggested by Ray Palmer to fool Howard Brown, the editor of Amazing Stories, who had requested that Palmer write a story about a picture showing a man going through some kind of lens. Palmer passed the job over to Byrne, but eventually confessed the switch to Brown. In this chapter, we'll be unraveling the enigma of Tarzan novel and discovering its transformative power. In 1955, Byrne became known as the author of an unpublishable new Tarzan novel called Tarzan on Mars via an editorial called Tarzan Never Dies by editor Ray Palmer in Other Worlds Science Stories magazine. The novel could not be published because Palmer was unable to get authorization from the estate of Edgar Rice Burroughs. Let's now shift our focus to Men into Space and explore the ways in which it shapes our perspective. As a screenwriter, Byrne wrote for the Men into Space TV show in 1959 and 1960. He is credited with writing the episode entitled Quarantine 1959 and providing the story for the one entitled Contraband 1960. He received credit for the story of the 1971 film called The Deserter, as well as the original story and screenplay for the 1972 film The Doomsday Machine. According to Blyler and Blyler, he was also a screenwriter for the 1975 film Journey into Fear, although he is not so credited in the IMDb online database. Brace yourself for an enlightening exploration of Thunder as we dive into its profound implications. Byrne reverted to the Bloodstone pseudonym for the publication of his original paperback novel Thunder, about the adventures of Michael Storm, also known as Thunder, on the Earth in the far future. After a framing device concerning Michael Storm's diaries, the story begins with Storm's adventures in the Peruvian mountains searching for the legendary time gate of Viracocha. According to Byrne, the scenes and locale of the opening adventure in the Peruvian Andes are authenticated by the fact that I spent some years in those mountains, following the trails of Pizarro while guided by archaic Spanish manuscript. Byrne also declared, "An ERB attorney once suggested to me that I try writing my own ERB-style fantasy adventures using my own characters. The result was Thunder Man of Two Worlds, written also in the ERB classical fantasy style, under my fantasy pen name, John Bloodstone." Now, let's shift our attention to Perry Rhodan. In the years, Byrne also worked as a translator on the Perry Rhodan series from German to English. He is credited as co-author with Clark Dalton of the two-part story called Test Flight to Eden 1975, which appeared in 2 consecutive Perry Rhodan books. When there were financial problems publishing Perry Rhodan books due to a change in the exchange rate between German and US currencies, Byrne undertook to write the Starman series, of which 11 appeared in print, published by Forrest J. Ackerman's Master Publications. The first story was The Superman of Alpha. Let's now zoom in on Gothic and uncover the hidden gems that lie within. Also in the years, Byrne tried his hand at Gothic writing from the first-person female point of view. The result was The Visitation, originally published in 1977 and republished as Haxbreaker in 2003. As we enter this new chapter, let's navigate the complexities of ebooks and unravel its multifaceted nature. Since 1998, many of Byrne's stories have been published in electronic form. They are all listed as by Stuart J. Byrne, with writing as John Bloodstone and his other bynams. Without wasting any more time, let's jump into the fascinating world of short stories. Music of the Spheres, Amazing Stories, August 1935. Beyond the Darkness, Other Worlds, July 1951. Matter of Perspective, Other Worlds, October 1951. Death Cup, Other Worlds, March 1952. The Ultimate Death by Howard Dare, Other Worlds, July 1952. Lady of Flame reprint of The Naked Goddess, Authentic Science Fiction Monthly, February 1953. Children of the Creation, Imagination, December 1952. The Bridge, Science Stories, December 1953. Beware the Star Gods, Imagination, June 1954. The Metamorphs, Other Worlds, January 1957. Spaceship Named Desire, Other Worlds, July 1957. Test Flight to Eden Part 1 of 2 by Stuart J. Byrne and Clark Dalton in Perry Rhodan. Stars of Drufen, 1975. Test Flight to Eden Part 2 of 2 by Clark Dalton and Stuart J. Byrne in Perry Rhodan. The Bonds of Eternity, April 1975. Starman 1, Superman of Alpha, Perry Rhodan. The Phantom Horde, Starman, Master Publications, 1979. Starman 2, Time Window, Perry Rhodan. The Phantom Horde, Starman, Master Publications, 1979. Starman 3, Interstellar Mutineers, Perry Rhodan. The Phantom Horde, Starman, Master Publications, 1979. Starman 4, The Cosmium Raiders, Perry Rhodan. The Phantom Horde, Starman, Master Publications, 1979. Starman 5, The World Changer, Perry Rhodan. The Phantom Horde, Starman, Master Publications, 1979. Starman 6, Slaves of Venus, Starman, Master Publications, 1980. Starman 7, Lost in the Milky Way, Starman, Master Publications, 1980. Starman 8, Time Trap, Starman, Master Publications, 1980. Starman 9, The Century End, Starman, Master Publications, 1980. Starman 10, The Emperor, Starman, Master Publications, 1980. Starman 11, The Return of Starman, Starman, Master Publications, 1980. Starman 12, The Second Empire, ebook only. Starman 13, The Summit Conference, ebook only. As we progress through this video, let's shift our attention towards novels and uncover its hidden depths. Starman 1969, Hal C. Fee, pp. 165, Hal Publications, Reseda, CA. Government 1970, writing as John Bloodstone, Hal C. Fee, pp. 205, Hal Publications, Reseda, CA. Front cover gives title as Government. Thunder 1971, writing as John Bloodstone, Leisure Books, North Hollywood, CA. Front cover gives title as Thunder, Man of Two Worlds, spine says Thunder, and title page says Thunder. The Alpha Trap 1976, Major Books, Canoga Park, CA. The Visitation 1977, writing as Rothayne Amare, Major Books, Canoga Park, CA. StarQuest 2006, Trafford Publishing, Victoria, BC, Canada. Last Days of Friends by John Bloodstone, Science Stories, February 1954, Armchair Fiction, The Naked Goddess, Other Worlds, October 1952, Armchair Fiction D192, 2017, Potential Zero by John Bloodstone, Science Stories, December 1953, Armchair Fiction D113, 2014, Land Beyond the Lens by John Bloodstone, Amazing Stories, March 1952, Michael Flanagan, Armchair Fiction D124, 2014, The Golden Gods by John Bloodstone, Amazing Stories, May 1952, Michael Flanagan, Armchair Fiction D159, 2015, Return of Michael Flanagan by John Bloodstone, Amazing Stories, August 1952, Michael Flanagan, Armchair Fiction D159, 2015, Prometheus 2, Amazing Stories, February 1948, Armchair Fiction, C27, 2012, The Golden Guardsman, Other Worlds, April, June, and July 1952, sequel to Prometheus 2, Armchair Fiction, C31, 2012, Power Metal, Other Worlds, May, June, and July 1953, Armchair Fiction C66, 2015, Colossus, reprint of Colossus I, Other Worlds, May 1950, Armchair Fiction D227, 2018, Colossus Contusion, reprint of Colossus 2, Other Worlds, July 1950, and Colossus 3, Other Worlds, September 1950, Armchair Fiction D246, 2019. Stay connected and join our community by subscribing and following me on other platforms.